Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another episode of our Crusader Kings 2 Fall of the Western Roman Empire campaign. So I've just about finished cleaning up the mess that is this empire after surviving that last civil war. Things have changed quite a bit, so I'm going to spend at least a good part of the beginning of this episode catching you guys up on everything that's changed. I guess we'll just start in the east and kind of pan west. But obviously I had to revoke a lot of titles and whatnot, and I'm trying to shift to holding less titles, giving more of them away, but distributing power in a way that benefits me and keeps everybody else as individually weak as possible. So nothing in the east really changed here. In fact, nothing up to about there. The biggest change, of course, is that this is a kingdom now. So this lady here, Queen Hemigda, is now Queen of Raetia Noricum. And that was, you may recall, the title that was forced into Gavelkind succession, so I'm not really, too broken up about getting rid of it. But I figured we'd drop it off to her because she was holding one of the larger territories in that province, or that kingdom in this case. And she was not this guy who is the Duke, so he's effectively the Duke of that area. And also kind of hostile toward us, so I didn't want to give it to him. She was like minus 14, which by my current standards is pretty favorable, so I decided to give it to her, and that again keeps both dukes in this kingdom fairly weak, because they're not the duke and the king or queen. Now they're just the duke and somebody rules over them, and I rule over that person. So again, as weak as individually I can get them. One thing I was considering, though, is her current husband is dead. So I was thinking maybe I could try to bring her into something of an alliance. We have a lot of grandchildren, and I think I'd like to try to secure alliances within the empire rather than looking outward, at least for a little while. So if I remember correctly, she wanted to marry... or I don't recall what I did. Oh, right. So if I go to my grandchildren, it has to be a betrothal, because I don't think he's of age yet. Grandchildren. We'll just go here, and I think it was Priscus, because he's almost of age. Now, the problem with all the male heirs is they are going to be pretenders, and so I have to be very careful about what I do with them. This particular kid isn't going to have any use as like a military commander. Really, he's best suited to be some sort of, ruler, whether it be a prefect or a governor, etc. But if I give him land, that just further legitimizes him as, a claimant. So I can't really do that unless I go ahead and I arrange a marriage, or in this case a betrothal, between him and... it's not showing up. I think I did it this way. Yeah. So if I marry them matrilineally, his children will not be of the Nepos dynasty and should have a weaker claim. And I believe that will suit us better than if we just did a regular marriage, though I suppose it doesn't matter. I guess we could just do either way. I think the claim is going to be the same regardless. But anyways, if we don't do matrilineal, that will eventually make this kingdom, ruled by a Nepos family member, just not, one that we're directly controlling. And so that's one potential use for him. And again, that would result in a non-aggression pact with the queen that we could turn into an alliance. So I think I'll do that. We'll lock that in. Okay, so that is Raetia Noricum. Then moving west, not a whole lot has changed, or actually nothing's changed in Italy. In Sardinia, we had to replace the governor because he was one of the people that rose up against us. So I decided to give it to this guy here, who is part of the Casina, or Kakina? Kakina? I don't know. Anyways, this house or dynasty, which is a really prevalent one and a really prestigious one in our empire, they are actually the same dynasty that was the first king under the Empress, this guy here, though they're distant cousins or something, because this guy has no direct relation to that king or any of his heirs. I think they're like cousins or something like that, maybe second cousins. So anyways, I think it's fairly safe to give him that, and he's never going to be a king of anything, so it's not like this clan's going to take over, because this belongs to the Diocese of Italia, which is of course like the de facto title under the imperial one for the Emperor Empress. I also decided to give this kingdom level title to our friend here. He already held the duchy, which covers the exact same territory, so I figured, what the hell, I'll just give it to him. Doesn't really make a difference. Though again, I may have considered, and it probably would have been wise for me to give it to somebody else and let them kind of conflict within those titles. But the really only alternative was this guy here, and frankly, I didn't want to give it to somebody who's like A, a heretic, and B, hates my guts. So, yeah, I don't want to give like a Germanic pagan priest a kingdom, and, or I guess it would be, I don't even know what it would be, because it's not even, there's archbishopric, prince archbishopric, and then there's something above that I can't recall. But that's for Christianity. We're talking paganism, so he's a high priest. He'd be like an ultra priest or something. I don't know. But anyways, I didn't want to give it to him, so I gave it here. And then I gave up on Divio as well. You may recall I was trying to like scheme to take that away, but because we had a truce, I couldn't revoke the title, even though I was willing to take the relationship hit, which, by the way, it took many to sort of set this stuff up. So I said screw it, and I just gave Lugdunum to somebody new who was loyal to me, and then I gave him the governorship over Lugdunum as well. So this territory is called Lugdunum, and then the duchy is Lugdunum too, which I felt was kind of fitting. If you're going to have Lugdunum the territory, why not have it the province as well? So I give it to him. This is technically the bigger province, but this one is wealthier and a little bit more military power. It's more developed than this. So whatever. What else? Up in the north here, I gave away a couple of duchies. The Celtica one to our friend here. And I thought this was kind of sweet almost. So, Duchess Ethine, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but that's what I'm... Ithne? I have no idea. Anyways, she'd been a courtier for a long time and unmarried, so I decided to marry her to him because I was going to make them, you know, fairly prominent family up here, just to kind of reward her for her efforts. And she's also a pretty good character and a druid, if you may recall. That's why I kept her around, because I was like, oh, awesome, a druid. But I decided to eventually, you know, let her go her own way. And he was lowborn, so when they married, he created his own dynasty, and he named it after his wife, which I thought was kind of nice. Not that that's going to really go anywhere, because all the children will be of her dynasty, which is this one, with the cool dragon. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. But anyways, I keep saying anyways, sorry. They are now the governor and governess of Celtica there. And then down here, I initially intended to give Gallia to this guy, but he just kind of pissed me off. He's making things really difficult for me, and he hates me. So I decided not to give it to him. I instated a new lord here and gave it to him instead. And I don't know why this shows up in yellow, because this is definitely not part of Gallia. It's part of Celtica, as you can see. Anyways, gave it to him, though he was also... No, he was not lowborn, but he ended up in a matrilineal marriage anyways. It may have been pre-existing, I don't remember. This is a fairly prominent family in the Romano-Gallic group, I guess you could say. And I kind of like the heraldry because it's got the Chi-Rho symbol in it, but it's kind of unique colors that you don't really see associated with it. So I figured that would be kind of a cool family or dynasty to bring up in Gaul. And so, yeah, I made him governor. But again, all of the children will be of her dynasty, so that duchy will be held by the I can't pronounce that because there's a question mark in it, but anyways, you get the idea. This dynasty here. So there's that. And then everything else is pretty much as you'd expect in Gaul, with one exception. This is still mine, but not for long. What I intend to do is create the Kingdom of the Seven Provinces, which is basically all of southern Gaul. However, I noticed that it kind of crept into Cisalpine Gaul, which is essentially the part of Italy that's south of the Alps, but north of the Italian peninsula. So the Romans considered that Gaul because, you know, they were all the way down here. So it's Cisalpine Gaul because it's on the same side versus Transalpine Gaul, which is on the opposite side of the Alps. But anyways, I felt this territory should be de jure part of Annonaria, which is what everything else in this area is. So what I'm thinking of doing is giving the Kingdom of Annonaria to Flavius Salvarius Nepos, because it's going to be his fairly soon anyways. And then transferring vassalage of this duchy to him. That way when I create this title and distribute it, this is protected and will remain part of Annonaria. And then eventually, if we keep it as part of Annonaria, the de facto thing should shift, but over several years. But it's possible. So I decided to keep Bertigala separate because I figured if the king of the seven provinces, sorry, this isn't a Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones. Anyway, if the king of the seven provinces only has a single territory for himself and he's contending with all these dukes, he should be a lot weaker. Again, trying to keep power as distributed as possible. So that's what we're going to do. I have somebody in mind for that. Down here, I broke down and gave the Lord of Barcelona the governorship of Catalonia. I felt like it was rightfully his, given that he holds the territory and all that. So, whatever. He hates us, but it's fine. And then this kid also kind of hates us. Not as much. But, again, he holds the sort of the de facto capital of Celtiberia. So, he got it. And then a few other duchies got handed out up here. But one thing I wanted to do is I need to get rid of this kingdom, Visigothica. And so I figured I'd give it to this guy, who also has a pretty well-established territory. In fact, it is the wealthiest in this area. It's definitely like very built up. And since Celtiberia is only these 3 territories and Visigothica is only those 3, there's going to be kind of some nice contention there. I also appointed this guy so he's a lot more loyal to me. He doesn't have an heir though, because again, I just married him to somebody and gave him that land. So if I give him the kingdom, I will become his heir and not the governor, because the governor is his liege. That's why it transfers to him if they don't have a true heir. But if I give him this diocese, then I become his direct liege, and it transfers to me if anything happens. So I think I'd prefer that just because it gives me more control, and then again, I take power away from this governor who isn't particularly fond of me, and I give it a little bit more power to this prefect that is, or now this king. So there we go. And one thing I can actually do now that he's a king is I can also make him a proconsul. So let's make sure we do that, because it's like a free plus 10 to our relations. And yeah, sure enough, I'm his heir, so if anything happens, it just comes back to me and I can reallocate it. What else? I think that's pretty much it. So you guys are mostly caught up. Our next play is going to be into here. I think we'll declare war on this guy through the reconquest of Belgica, and we'll take all that land. Again, I think I talked about this 2 episodes ago, but this should fracture that kingdom and basically make everybody left go independent. Then we'll go after Paris, and I want Paris to be my own personal territory, because this is an incredibly wealthy territory, and I'm still considering making it my new capital, because it'll make conquesting into Germania and Britannia much easier if I'm, deploying my legions from here rather than in Rome. So just, food for thought, but I figured either way I'd like to keep it because it is a very wealthy settlement, or I'm struggling to figure out the words to properly refer to these, because I would generally call this a province, but the issue is this particular game calls a duchy, at least for, you know, Nicene Christian kingdoms, it calls a duchy a province. So I'm kind of, you know, confused. I don't want to sort of mix up the difference and confuse you guys, but whatever. Anyways, I'd like to have Paris, and so we're going to go for that after we declare or conquer these guys. So yeah, let's do this first. I need to give you some land, because I can't give you a kingdom if you don't have any land to rule it from. So it would have to be either Venice or Milan. Let's do Venice, because it's kind of a pain to deploy troops from there. And it is, I think, less wealthy than Milan is, just because I've built Milan up a little bit more. It doesn't matter, because he's going to become our character pretty soon anyways. So this is just a very temporary thing. So there you go. He is now the prefect of Venice, and then we will make him the king of Ananaria. Milan will stay with me, even though that's de jure part of it. So he's going to like me a little bit less because of that, but it should sort of be fine because we just made him a king. He'll be pretty pleased with that. He's going to take off his helmet, even. Then we'll transfer... Well, I need to figure out who this is first. Governor Julius the Victorious. Okay, so we're going to transfer vassalage of Governor Julius to you. I should probably just type it in. Oh, there he is. Julius the Victorious. Okay, so now the Alps are part of Ananaria. Right, so if we go to our court, I had this guy in mind. He is part of a fairly prominent family. His father is a governor in Pannonia. However, he is one of the younger sons, so he'll only inherit if this kid dies, or this guy. He's 35. Much older than me. Calling him a kid. Anyways, if Cornelius dies, then he inherits, but I don't think that'll be an issue. So one thing I need to do, though, is this is a religious holding, so what I should maybe do is, like, let's revoke this title, since you're pagan anyways. People are going to be pissed off, but whatever, I don't care. So we're going to take that title. By the way, I've advanced quite a bit of time, because it was kind of difficult. Finally, we're intolerant. I mean, I say that like it's a good thing, but intolerance is not a good thing. Though, in this case, it will be very helpful. And it probably would have been nice to have that before I just revoked that title, because I would have been able to do it justly. She's accepted our betrothal. That's good. I have a bunch of people still arriving. I didn't mean to bring in this many, but... Oh, no. She refused. Well, I think it'll be fine, because if they have children, there's a good chance they might be Christian like he is. And I think they'll take precedence over her existing daughters, especially if they're male. Okay, is that title mine yet? It is. Perfect. So I need to assign him that title first, because if I don't, he's going to become like a bishop. So grant landed title. Oh no. It says it's a bishopric. Why? Did that just become... It went from a castle to... Oh, crap. Right, well, I have to give him some sort of castle, otherwise he is going to be a bishop, and I don't want him to be a bishop. So what can I do? I mean, like, short of building a new castle and giving it to him, that's kind of ridiculous. I swear that was a castle before. Can I revoke yours? Okay. Let's see. He's accepted our betrothal offer down there in Hispania. I think I will make him king of Tarraconensis once he comes of age. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I'll talk about it in a second. So this kid here is who I'm referring to. I've betrothed him to Constantia. Because again, trying to distribute power, so even though we have, you know, this guy having the governorship and then governorships all over here, I figured this kid with Caesar Augusta being a fairly, you know, powerful province, territory, whatever, I could give him the diocese of, oh, actually I have to create it still. It's not actually existent yet, or extant. So yeah, I'd have to create it, not a big deal though, and give it to him so he can rule from there over all those governors. Again, distributing power. Right, so let's talk to our friend again. Though this might be weird if I give him a city, because it's gonna make him, I don't know that I care. We'll just do it. Where is he? There you are. Grant landed title Municipum. Sure. Okay. Then if I grant you the landed title of Bertigala, you become a Prefectus Urbanus. And then if I grant you the landed title of shoot. Which one was it? Oh, I have to create it. Right. Gotta create that too. Okay. Then we give it to you. And a new great house has risen to the forefront of provincial politics. Okay. I think that was because I made him... Yeah, so he's not actually a king or a vicar. Or a vicar, however you prefer to pronounce it. He is a consul, which I actually prefer, except for the fact that, like, it's going to be kind of weird now. I don't know that it matters. But it made the county capital a city rather than a bishopric, which, I mean, I would have preferred it be a castle as well. I guess it's fine. It's still better than a bishopric. Can I make you a proconsul now? I can make both of you proconsuls, so let's do that. And you're still my... You know, I should probably change my designated regent to the heir, even though that is going to upset him. And you're still Caesar as well. Okay. Well, that's a little bit better. And again, you are still part of Ananaria. Good. Hopefully that will shift over time. I'm going to hang on to the Kingdom of Lugdunensis for now, or the Diocese of Lugdunensis, because technically Paris is part of that, and I want to be very sure, very careful that Paris doesn't fall into whoever's lap that I give that title to. Because again, I want Paris to be independent for myself. And the King of Lugdunensis can have everything south of it, and the King of Belgica can have everything north of it. But this is going to be mine. So not going to hand that one out yet. But that does eliminate a lot of my titles. I should probably give that to him as well. So here, have this. Do whatever you want with it. He should reassign those to other people eventually. Okay, so with that out of the way, that was, you know, quite a lot. But it took me a couple hours off camera to go through and assign all those territories, so this is nothing in comparison. Let's go ahead and declare war here. And we're going to do Belgica. He's got a pretty large force there. We will call in allies, just because... Ooh. Are they no longer my ally? Oh, they are. Maybe they just have some sort of arrangement with... Oh, they do. Okay, so they have to be neutral. I always just thought because we declined them on a marriage proposal last time that they might have taken that personally. Alright, let's call up the forces here. This is incredibly tedious. But they have too many troops for me to just rely on the legions. You know what? let's do that. And I'm going to disband you. I just have no patience to wait for that. That's only like 200 troops, so let's not bother with that either. I think that'll be enough. We will need like every ship available though. Wow, that's not a lot. Okay, never mind with you two. We'll probably do much better just pulling from here. I just want the ships. Just the ships. That is 65. We need a little bit more than that. 18. Perfect. That is plenty. So we're going to sail them over there. I think that's the easiest way to go about it. We'll just kind of drop them on their doorstep or something. Bishop Valerian, my co-conspirator, has sent word that a massive pit of manure has been prepared under the floorboards of an abandoned inn on a path Duchess Livia will travel with her escort. Once they're seated at the table, kaboom. Hopefully this doesn't fail miserably. Alright, ship's all there. Come on. Let's see. Good, you converted another pagan lord. It's always a good thing. Alright. Merge. Hop aboard. And deliver my troops to... Where did all your armies go? Deliver them there, please. So yeah, moving the capital. Definitely something we want to be doing. But again, I want to wait until you guys have an opportunity to kind of weigh in on where you think it should be. So if you haven't already, let me know. I'm a little bit ahead on recording, so I haven't really had a chance to see your comments yet. God, stop with the notifications. I do not care. Do not care about any of this. It just will not stop. What is this now? Another person converted. Okay, cool. Alright, she blew up and there's no trace of any complicity on our part. So let's try to arrange a marriage with him. Wait. Arrange marriage. No, I'm not trying to marry myself to him. Let's see. Females. 16, it's a bit young. She's the only one? Yeah, I brought in a bunch of males, no females. Alright, he can find his own wife. Though he is getting up there in age. Okay. Betrothed can marry. Who are you? And who are you? Was she like a member of my court? No, he was. Interesting. I don't remember who you are. But you are pagan. I'm just gonna say screw it. Break the betrothal, yeah. I'm not gonna help out any pagans. I don't even remember assigning that. Oh great, we've already got people revoking titles. Governor down here, Telekinesis, has basically just been yanking land out of people's hands. Let's see, I don't recall who held this before. It looks like it was some pagan guy, so I guess I care a little bit less. He was probably allowed to do that because of the intolerance policy that we instituted. Anyways, let's march into their territory here. We'll head pretty much straight for their capital. And we converted a settlement here. Is this thing still... Oh, they've been converted. You should probably leave. Do something else with your time. Let's see. Who's next? Let's go with here. That's a pretty big one. So it looks like whoever these guys are fighting right now just defeated them. So they're a little bit roughed up. We're going to come in and just utterly destroy them. God, I'm getting like notifications just rained on me. I don't recall who you are, if I'm being honest. Sure, whatever. These aren't betrothals I set up. They're just betrothals that the game feels fit to notify me about and make me weigh in on. I honestly have no idea why, but whatever. And you want to arrange a marriage. Didn't I just say you could? Whatever. Whatever. All I care about is this war. Okay, took some prisoners. I can't tell which way they're fleeing. Let's assume it's this way. Yeah, it looks like they went this way. And all of my allies are here. Nice. Well, not all of them, but all of my allies' forces. Okay, looks like we're going back this way. Unfortunately, somebody's already taken the capital, so I can't really rely on that. Alright, there is Julius Nepos. Let's see. We do want to push that through. Hopefully that's a fruitful marriage, because otherwise it's not really going to work in our favor. It'll just be kind of a waste. Alright. Let's crush these guys some more. They're married now. Perfect. Who is this? Probus Salvarius Nepos. The cook complained to me about my grandson's temper tantrums. Apparently he punched her son in the face again. Whoa. He's wroth? No. Let's encourage him to be more patient. Well, he's not wroth anymore. Oh, you guys didn't even move. Whoops. Well, it looks like our allies have that under control. Let's just start assaulting holdings, I guess. That might speed this along a little bit. Okay, hop over here. Especially since they're not following that army anymore. No, go that way, you clowns. Why would you do that? Why are you being stupid? Okay. No, god damn it. How long does it take you to move that little distance? It looks like somebody else has given it to him, but I don't get war score for somebody else defeating them unless it's my ally. Just assault that. That's at 87 now. Hit this one too. 91. These are, of course, all settlements that will become mine, so this is not the best course of action, but I am impatient. Okay, let's try to get after this army here. If we can't catch them, I'll just start smashing all these, like, tribal villages, especially this one. This is, like, nothing. Okay, we got him. Will it be enough, though? 100%, perfect. Oh, did we capture him? No, that's just some random mayor. Okay, whatever. Point is, war's over. There we go. And I was unfortunately wrong. I thought for sure they would fracture and become independent, but clearly that was not the case. So they're just split over a very wide area now. Let's send you guys home. Some of these did go independent though, just not the ones that we were hoping for. So we are going to have to wait for a truce now, which is a real bummer. But it is what it is. Just kind of have to deal with it. I'll need to distribute some of these territories as well. I have no desire to hold on to that. Though, I could invest in bringing it up to at least a castle before I do that. Just kind of throw a bone to whoever ends up holding this. I guess I'll do at least the first Wooden Hill Fort there. Any of these others end up mine. Sure, I'll give you a reinforced hill fort there. That guy has way too much territory. Maybe it's just the 2. Not as bad as I thought. Wow, that is also a very wealthy province. I wonder, should I just like take this whole little bit of land for myself here? Because these 2 right here are the provinces to have. And I mean, that one could be built up. That's got 4 slots. That's got 3. So I could take that whole little piece for myself, maybe. Anyways, I think we'll end it there. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but something tells me we're at about the right spot. What is all this now? Tyranny of Duchess. Okay. So that's some war happening within the 7 provinces. That doesn't really concern me, apparently. So I think our next target is going to be Germania Inferior, right here. Let's see what we can do to them. Okay, easy enough. We spend the 500 for the reconquest, and we can take all their land at once. And it looks like, at least in terms of de jure titles, that's, you know, we'd just basically be transferring hands. There's nothing to really be done there. Everything else over here is like very fractured, so that will be a little bit harder to deal with, though because we have this title, we can just take it without spending any money. We're already the de jure liege. We just have to enforce it. There's still Brittany as well, and I'll probably have to spend the 500 for the reconquest, unless again I can make this vassalization work, which I'll have to wait until we're at peace to do that, but there's a chance she will just vassalize, in which case we'll have 2 of, how many was it? 6, so we would need 4 of 6. But if we got those 2 and then we could conquer these 2, we'd be able to enforce our claim on the other 2, or maybe vassalize them as well. Oh, of course she's a pagan. Distant realm. Okay. Whatever. Maybe it's distance from our capital. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to let me know where you think our new capital should be. Should it be Paris? Should it be somewhere a little bit more Roman? Or is that a good spot? Again, if there's something I haven't considered, feel free to throw it out there. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I had a great time playing some Crusader Kings 2 with you, and I look forward to seeing you back here for the next episode.